Hello, everybody. Jason of New Age Revolution Cave. Monday, LJN's Revisited. That's what we do on Mondays. It's a staple. It's a regular. As soon as it ends in I don't know, many weeks, probably the rest of the year, we'll probably take a look at XOX Revisited, AWA Revisited, Galoob we already did. Bendies we already did, Thumb Wrestlers we already did. So it'll be AWA after this. This is going to go on for a while. I got another item in the mail today, but should I show it prior to LJN's Revisited? Or should it be a separate? Because I have a second thing coming in a few days. Because this is going to require a shelf. We're going to need a shelf because I don't have anywhere to put this new item. So it's time we have to accept a shelf being built. All right, I'll show you. Before we do LJN's Revisited, this is my newest pickup. These, again, are listed for very foolish prices on eBay. I know I'm always saying that, and you're probably getting tired of me saying it, but they don't go to auction. They're not auction. They are buy it nows, $39, $49, just bizarre prices. Yes, I list some of my things buy it now. Yes, I list some of my things at auction. But a lot of these things I'm not seeing auctions for anymore. So this was $39.99, and I just offered the guy $15. And he took it, and because it had been sitting at $39.99 for 8-9 months, the person said. So I'm like, all right. So I got it for $15, and I'm happy with it. It is a Rock and Wrestling Connection, Hulk Hogan's Rock and Wrestling Connection board puzzle. That's right. It's a puzzle. Take a look. We've got Piper in his hot rod. We've got Hogan in the, I don't know, what is that supposed to be? Like a Hogan Cadillac. And it's from, of course, the cartoon Hulk Hogan's Rock and Wrestling. So that's all. Just a fun little item. I'm going to get a shelf. We're going to start putting shelves up on this side, and I'm going to get one of those picture frame holders and just have it sit up like that on the shelf. I think it's cool. What's even cooler is that a kid named Denny used to own this. And he was a very aggressive kid. He wants you to keep your hands off of Denny's stuff. So Denny was so possessive and so angry that he wrote on the back of his puzzle to keep your hands off his stuff. Now, here's the problem that I have with this. These board puzzles usually sit like this, right, on a table. So if I'm going to grab it, if I'm going to go to Denny's house and I'm going to take it from him, I'm just going to take it and set it down flat and put it together and play with it, right? I'm never even going to know that Denny wants me to keep his hands off his stuff because it's on the back. So nice try, Denny. Ridiculous. Before we do the LJN's Revisited, I want to say a special thank you to a fellow named Collectors Entertainment Network. Well, that's not his name. I don't think his mother named him that upon birth. But that's his eBay channel. You see, Collectors Entertainment Network. If you go over to Collectors Entertainment Network, you've heard me talk about him before. He did a show the other night and bought some LJN items and added them to his collector book, the same collector book that he's been carrying around since he was 8 years old. But he bought something from me, you see. He bought something from me a few weeks ago, and he added that to the book, and he wrote from the New 80s Revolution. So I am written down in the LJN Bible of joy. So I'm in a kid's book. I'm in a kid's book that a kid had when he was 8 years old, and now he's not 8 years old anymore. It's several years later, and now my name is added to the book. That's fantastic. So just wanted to say thank you for that. Collectors Entertainment Network, get over to the channel there and watch his stuff. All right, well, let's talk about LJNs Revisited. We are up to a tag team, folks. We're up to a tag team. I'm not going to tell you who they are, but I'm going to show you how to display them. I'm going to show you how to display them. You have to get these custom LJN stands from 4 Left 3D Creations on Etsy. That's right, 4 Left 3D Creations. And you can display these two mystery figures properly on your shelf, and I'll unveil it now. I'm talking about the next figures that we're going to review, folks. The Hart Foundation, ladies and gentlemen, the Hart Foundation. Now, I'm thrown off a little because what I'm realizing for the first time is that I have one of each of the Hart Foundation. Because there's this stupid color variance, right? That nobody, well, that's not true. There's the stupid color variants that so many people care about. I don't care about them, but it looks like I have light trunk Jim Neidhart and dark trunk Bret Hart. I did not buy these as a set. I did not buy them in a box. I'm sure when I was collecting LJNs, I got them one at a time. And it looks like I have two variants, paint variants. Guess what? I don't care. But I just literally noticed it today after years of collecting. Okay, so let's talk about the Hart Foundation. Here we go, folks. Two of my absolute favorite figures. Would Sheik and Volkov, British Bulldogs? I'd have to say, I don't know. I want to say the British Bulldogs are my favorite LJN tag team, to have played with as a kid. I guess so. Let's go with that. But these are just fantastic figures. I love these figures so much. I played with these figures so much. I did the tag team run. I did the singles run with Bret Hart right after WrestleMania 4. Right after WrestleMania 4, when Bret and Bad News Brown get into it, I put Bret Hart in the singles run in the LJN Federation. Of course they won tag team gold. Of course they won. Bret Hart won Intercontinental gold. Jim Neidhart, I didn't do a whole lot of successful runs with. Bret Hart had a lot of successful runs. The tag team had successful runs, but Neidhart alone did not. Although, because I know you like stories, Jim Neidhart's finishing move was the forearm smash across the chest, because Jim Neidhart had like this superhuman power, this like power lifter strength in the Federation. And his finishing move was literally a forearm smash across the chest, knocked the wind out of his opponent, and he gets the pin, right? Well, I remember having a match with Anvil and, I think it was a battle royal, and it was Anvil. Anvil was in the battle royal. Andre the Giant was in the battle royal. And at one point, Andre took the forearm smash and did the slow Andre fall. So Neidhart was like an urban legend, that he knocked down Andre the Giant with the forearm smash. Kind of like when Duggan knocked down Andre with the 2x4. Remember on Superstars? Andre was choking Duggan with the strap, and Duggan picked up the 2x4, whacked him in the head, and Andre went right down, and it blew all of our minds because Andre fell, right? Anvil did that with the forearm smash. Bret Hart is one of my favorite figures to play with. I love Bret Hart. He can do the Bret Hart punches, the famous Bret Hart punches, and he's just such a great looking figure. Because Bret Hart really, didn't change his look that much all up through his world title run, right? So, you're not playing with a figure that's got, in an unfamiliar outfit. He kept the same look. The tag team belts look great around the waists of Jim Neidhart and Bret Hart. another funny story with these guys. So at one point in time, the Hart Foundation loose were extremely expensive. This was a very hard set to get. Now they're all expensive, so it doesn't matter. So back when I was, recollecting or hadn't quite got into recollecting yet, Ultimate Warrior was the top of the food chain when it came to wrestler prices loose. LJN loose. Ultimate Warrior was tops. Bret Hart and Jim Neidhart were right below that. They were expensive figures back then, right? But I was able to get these at a local toy shop. A guy called the Yankee Clipper, he owned like this toy store that, it was like a collectible toy store. But the funny thing about Yankee Clipper is that we never understood how he made a living, because nothing would ever sell from his store. We would go there and the same stuff would always be on his shelf. And I'm talking for decades. I've visited his store many times over the last 25 years. And he's, about 25 years. And he'd always had the same stuff. Nothing ever changed. It was like permanent fixtures in his store. So I don't know where he got, but before LJNs blew up in price, he got a batch in, and I ended up getting the Hart Foundation for like $20, just ridiculous, stupid prices, because he had no idea what to charge. And then the next few months, as the LJN started coming in, he would use the Lee and the Tomart's price guides, which would then skyrocket the prices to abnormal prices, because the price guide prices are always insane. But I got them for 20. The final Hart Foundation story goes a little something like this. I got these for the Christmas of 87, Christmas of 88. I'm not sure which one. I want to say Christmas of 88. Maybe it was Christmas of 87. I'm not sure. So we're at my grandparents' for Christmas Eve, and my mom and her husband, we're leaving, right? We're going home for the night. So we have to bring the Christmas Eve gifts that I got from my grandparents. We have to bring them to the car. So I'm helping, stepdad, bring the presents out, the Christmas Eve presents, and we're loading them into the back of into his trunk. And as he opens the trunk, I see a brown box that has the Wrestling Ring Company logo on it. And it's a rectangle box. And that year, the only figures that I got from the Wrestling Ring were the Hart Foundation. So I'm jumping up and down in the driveway going, Hart Foundation, Hart Foundation, I got the Hart Foundation, because I see the box in his trunk on Christmas Eve. And he desperately, like all parents do, tries to make up something and goes, no, that's stuff for work. And I'm like, oh, it is? Oh, bummer. Because, he's got a box that has the Wrestling Ring Company logo on it. But he's, that's those are car parts. Crazy kid. So then I'm jumping up and down, and, I'm still excited. He knows that I know, and he's like, don't say anything, So that's how I got the Hart Foundation for whatever Christmas. Never met Bret Hart. Did meet Jim Neidhart. Back when Jim Neidhart was struggling a little bit, and where his belly had become superhuman. Met him at a Legends show, and just took a picture with him. And he would always wear the tightest, like, bicyclist shirts, and then tuck them in. So you've got probably one of the largest bellies in history, but yet you're still trying to squeeze into these skin tight, spandex, Lance Armstrong, 10-speed bicycle Tour de France shirts, while your belly is literally, coming out of 3D, like, whoa, Anyway. Jim Neidhart, Bret Hart, the Hart Foundation. Let's take a closer look at him right now. All right, as always, we take a look at the little pieces of plastic that have changed my collection, changed this room. We could almost make the case that 4 Left 3D Creations is responsible for turning me back into a wrestling collector. That and the LJN or the WWF magazines. But anyway, 4 Left 3D Creations on Etsy for all of your custom LJN stand needs. And here they are, the Hart Foundation. 2 of my favorite figures, 2 of the best looking figures in my opinion. I think Anvil probably has the better play pose, I guess. But I used Bret Hart a heck of a lot more than I used Anvil when I wasn't using them in tag team action. Anvil's face looks great. He's got the flat top, the pointy beard. Could definitely use a little cleanup. Tag team belt's looking good. Yeah, he could definitely use a cleanup. He's got some kind of stainage there on his waist, but pink trunks, purple trunks, whatever you want to call it, black boots, open hand, and then the powerful forearm smash hand. Pretty much the same in the back. And then we've got the Hitman. Great looking face. He's got the Hitman sunglasses. He's got the shorter Hitman Bret Hart hair with no hair straggles in his face. That would have been okay. I think he had that look when these figures were made. Decent pose. Great punching fist. Championship belt looks great. And there's the rest of them. Fantastic looking figure. Not much going on in the back that you haven't seen. A little bit shorter hair for the Hitman. And there they are. Loved using these figures as a kid. As I just noticed that Hitman's, the straps sit up a little bit higher on his chest than they do on Anvil. I don't know if anybody cares about that, but that's what I'm here to notice. Well, there you go, folks. The Hart Foundation. At one point, one of the most, or 2 of the most sought-after figures in the LJN line. And next up, we will be taking a look at Jake the Snake Roberts. I think a figure that could have been such a great addition, but he really lacks in size. We'll talk about that next time. But there you go. The Hart Foundation. Jim Neidhart, Bret Hart, 2 of the best LJNs there will be, ever was, and is. Did I do that right? I don't think so. Good night now.